guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Gabby, and if you haven't watched my previous video, I talked about how I am starting to read a book called A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. So this is the book I'm reading, and I kind of wanted to record this journey because I kind of wanted to, take a little whack at it and try doing it myself. Also, by the way, that's my clothes. Don't worry about that. I folded some laundry, so that's why there's clothes there. So this is the book I'm reading. I'm already on page 163, and so far what I have is just they went through the whole 4 stories of each kind of character, and now I'm at the part where we're focusing a little more on Jude, and he's telling his story about how he got to college, how he met Harold, which is somebody very important in his life, and we're trying to find out what happens next if he actually does talk to people about his previous life. So I'm gonna just go take some time and read this, and then I haven't gotten into the sad parts yet, which I am glad, but I'm bracing myself for that. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys. I read like 5 pages yesterday. Not yesterday. When was it? Last week. I haven't read. But I've tried to read. All right. So I've tried to read. I'm on page 179 now. Barely. I don't know what's wrong with me. I want to get to the middle of the book already, but at the same time, maybe I don't have motivation to read it because it's such a long book. And so far, I'm at the part where, I'm in chapter 2 of The Postman. I think that's The Postman? Yeah. Chapter 2 of The Postman. And I'm getting to the part where Jude is in the, what is it called? The monastery? Where all the fathers are. And I don't know. I feel like, I understand that Jude went through a lot of hard stuff as a kid. But the thing is, I kind of felt like I pinpointed the part where he started acting up. Obviously, he was a kid and he felt like he had to do certain things, maybe to get attention. I don't know. Personally, I think it's because he just, something inside him stirred him to do to act like this, to have this behavior. And I don't know if he didn't have, I honestly don't know if he didn't have solid, father figures. I mean, he's surrounded by fathers, not literal fathers, but I don't know if it's because of that caused him to act this way. I think the author is assuming that he's not very well taught in religion, that he's gonna act like this, and the fathers are not gonna know how to treat that, and they're not gonna know how to react or correct whatever he's doing. But I don't know. I don't want to assume. I am getting a little confused though, because I don't know who's talking. I don't know if it's Jude. I don't know if it's the narrator, because the book is now referring to Jude as he. He did this. His tantrums got worse, stuff like that. And I'm just like, okay, who is talking? Is it Jude talking to himself as a he in third person? I don't know if my reading levels are low that I don't understand what's going on. But I'm going to try to attempt to read. It's pretty late. I just got back home from the gym. That's why I look like this. But I'm gonna read for a little bit. I'm gonna shower. I ate my dinner already. It's 8 p.m. I'm gonna try to read until like 9:30 or something. I know it's not a lot of time, but 9:30 is pretty late for me if I want to wake up early. Well, I don't really have to wake up early tomorrow. But anyways, yeah, a lot of stuff is going on. Jude has been stealing stuff. He's just creating chaos in the monastery, and I'm kind of bracing myself for the part where he has to deal with the things that he deals in the future, but I don't know if I'm there yet. I have no idea what's next. So I'm going to continue to read, and we'll see if I update you guys later. All right, I had to stop for a bit because I've been reading for like 20 minutes already, and I was getting confused. I was a little confused about who was talking in the second chapter of The Postman. And I just realized that it's Harold. Because he keeps saying I. And he doesn't really mention Jude. He's talking about his personal life and how. Excuse you. So, anyways. So Harold is talking about his personal life and how he feels and everything and what happened when he married his first wife, when he married his second wife. I don't know who he's talking to. He said a sentence somewhere along the lines of like, she wished she was like you, someone like you. And I was like, Adele? Just kidding. I mean, he married a woman named Adele. But anyways, yeah, so I'm at that part and I'm trying to figure out who is Harold talking to because they don't say names. So that's a whole mystery to me right now. I guess we'll find out and we'll see what happens. So let's keep reading. And that's my pile of clothes is still here. Yes, I know. I need to move it to the closet. I came back here to correct myself. I just realized that Adele was not the woman Harold got married to. It's his father's wife, which I think is his second wife, his father's second wife. I thought that Harold had married Adele and then married Liesel, but he married Liesel. His father married. I have no idea. It says when I was 8, he married his office manager, Adele, which he's talking about his father, not himself. I thought someone else was talking about Harold. I was so confused. I'm trying to figure all this out. I am not trying to get confused, but I think this is one of the reasons why I haven't been reading this book is because, or not reading the book, but I've been struggling to read this book and I've been hesitating to read the book is because either the pages are a little confusing, the story is a little slow. It's getting a little, it is a little slow. These chapters are so long and I feel like I'm not getting anywhere really right now. But I'm trying my hardest to be patient. I also feel like the reason I'm not really motivated to read this book right now is because I kind of already know what's going to happen. Like I've heard other people read the book and I don't want to get to that part, but I know that I'm going to have to get to that part eventually. So it's going to happen. So I'm going to try to keep reading. It's getting pretty late and I need to go shower. So let's continue reading and then we'll see if I'll catch you guys in maybe tomorrow or something. Bye. Hello. It has been an entire month. Actually, yeah, it has been an entire month. Let me take this book out because, where was I? All right. We are back with this book. I hit my nose. And I've gotten to the part so far of I'm on page 408. And oh my gosh, so much has happened in these past 100 pages. I don't even know if I can talk about this because I'm conflicted in regards to how I feel about the story so far. I hope that that I'm not stalling. I hope that I'm not stalling in reading the book because I want to get to the part that everybody says is the part that makes them cry. But I also don't want to get to that part because I'm scared that I'm going to cry. I've been reading this book not every day. It's been taking me a while to try and finish this book. I am halfway through this book. I feel like it's taking me so long. It's taking me an entire month just to get to halfway through the book. And I feel like it's going to take me another month to finish the book. I'm starting to dread it a little bit because it's becoming a little too long. And I want to get to my happy books already. I want to get to my romance books. I want to get to all the cute books I have in my bookshelf already. But I'm not the type to stop reading a book in the middle of the book. So I'm going to keep reading. But so far, I'm at the part, and obviously, spoiler alert. Because if you haven't read it, I mean, I'm pretty sure that majority of the people I'm pretty sure that a lot of people already read this book. It's not new. It's not a new book. Anyways, I am at the part where I don't remember when I gave the last update on this book. I think I was on page 200 or something. But so much has happened to all of the friends, to Jude. We're kind of narrowing it down to focusing more on Jude and Harold. I don't really hear any more about Willem. I don't really hear any more. I don't hear at all, actually. I don't hear at all about JB or what's that other guy's name? I forgot the other friend's name. Malcolm. Malcolm. So yeah, I don't hear any more of them. I hear a little bit about JB like once or twice, but it's more of like a recap of this is what happened at the beginning of the book, and now it's Harold's perspective about Jude's mentality. So far I read the part where this is what I remember the most recent is when Jude met Caleb and they started dating and everything seemed to be going well until Caleb made these comments about Jude. And Jude, obviously, this is the part where I got irritated. Not at the character, not at the character Jude, but at the author. It just made me feel like I don't know if the author thinks that we're dumb. I got angry at the author because of how she portrayed Jude's personality in the book. Maybe there's people like that out there in the world that are that sensitive and soft and just not defensive people. But personally, I've never gone through what Jude has gone through. I still don't really quite know what he has gone through in his childhood, but what I'm seeing, what I'm reading, it sounds like he was so oppressed by the people who raised him that he just never fought back, never stood up for himself. And that's what's irritating me the most about this part of the book, where Caleb just physically hurts him and Jude is just apologizing. And to me, I feel like, how far are you going to allow someone to treat you like that? Like, at what point do you stand up for yourself? And I don't think that that's realistic. So that's what irritated me about it, because I don't think, or I don't want to believe, I don't believe that anybody in this world would let themselves get treated like that and just start apologizing. To me, that's like, and the way that the narrator or the author, the way that the author wrote this part in the book is just like, how does Caleb have this much strength to pick this person up and do that to them? It doesn't make sense. It made me kind of laugh because it's like, oh, he picked him up and he slammed him here and he took him outside and he took off all his clothes and then he picked him up again and then he took him here and then blah blah blah, and it's just like so much going on. And I don't want to sound rude, and I don't think that it would be an easy task to do to someone. It's physically demanding to do. I don't know how strong Caleb is, but I don't think that he's strong enough to be doing all that to someone. To me, it makes it not realistic. Yeah, I read that part and I was just like, this is no. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that this can happen in real life if someone ever tried it. And then I'm not angry at Jude. At this point in the book, I'm not angry at Jude for not wanting to share anything about his past, because I've met people that are so stubborn like that. They don't want to talk about anything. They don't want to talk about what they've lived through. They don't want to talk about anything regarding their past. Like, they just want to forget it, and it hurts too much to even remember it. So, and I've met people who shut down when you ask them questions. So I understand, and I probably do that. Uh, not to Jude's point, like, not to how he is, but I probably do that. I shut down. I tend to shut down if people ask too many questions, or I get annoyed and I start to tell them like, hey, I don't like that. I don't like all these questions. I think that Jude's way of handling things is a little too exaggerated. Like, I don't think that anybody would want to not share to someone that they confide in, especially someone like Harold. Harold has been there for a long time for Jude, and I don't think that I don't see any progress in Jude trusting him. To me, it goes to show that someone like Harold can show Jude so much trust and support, but then Jude is just like completely not considering that. He's a little selfish. To me, that's kind of selfish. It's like, oh, I don't think that I can trust you. Like, you're going to do something. I don't trust you. Like, that is a little selfish to me. So maybe I am a little irritated at Jude. Obviously, I think the last I read about JB was when he made fun of Jude for the way he walked. And a very long time went by where Jude didn't forgive him for what he had done because it obviously affected him. I saw a lot of people's reactions to this scene in the book, and they were crying and they were saying how cruel. And yes, I think that making fun of someone is cruel. It's not something that I would want to be done to me, and I wouldn't do it to anybody. But at the same time, I don't think that it's not that serious. Like, it's just, if that's the way people see you, you shouldn't care how people see you. And if they make fun of you, then you clearly know who your friends are. But to not forgive someone for that, in my opinion, I would have forgiven him, but I would have walked away from that friendship. Like, I would not have. I don't think that I'm the type of person that doesn't really hold grudges. Like, I don't like to be angry at people. If I decide to leave a friendship or anybody, I'm not going to be angry at them because it's just going to affect me in the end, my own feelings. But if I see that someone is disrespecting me as of who I am as a person, I'm just gonna, wish them well and walk away, and everything is fine, and I'm not gonna hold any remorse. But Jude in the book, I think it was hard for him to forgive JB for making fun of his walk, his crippledness, and that to me was a little exaggerated because how are you gonna react? I didn't like that. I also feel like Jude is, to me, he's such a very close-minded person that he only sees himself. He cares too much about how other people think of him. He cares too much of what he is worth. He cares a little too much, and to me, that's kind of selfish. It's like you don't want to take into consideration other people because of what you think you look like. It all comes back to you being the center of attention in this friendship or relationship, if you want to call it, with Julia and Harold. They're there to try to help you. But if you're just thinking about, oh, what do they think of me? Oh, what do I look like in their eyes? It's just like you're thinking too much of that and you're not focused on the present. And I think this book hasn't caused any tears yet. Like Jude has so many people around him that support him and are tolerant of whatever he's doing, and I don't think that Jude is being fair to them by closing them out, not trusting them, thinking that they're going to betray him for some reason. I understand that because of his past, he hasn't been able to trust anybody. But if people show you, to me personally, if people show you for years that you can trust them, I don't know why you wouldn't trust them. I just think it's the way the author wrote the characters. It's such a negative way of thinking. That is something that I think is what irritates me the most of Jude. Like, he could be having the time of his life, and he has said in the book, like, oh, this is the moment that I forget who I was or what happened in the past, or like, this is the moment where everything is happy, everyone is happy, and I'm happy, I'm comfortable. And then he tends to ruin it for himself by doing the things that he does, like self-harming himself. You're doing so well, but then you revert back. Like, I haven't been through like really bad situations in my life like that to really understand it. But I think it's just the way that I think. And to me, Jude is just very, I guess I don't know if I like Jude. He seems like a good character. I can empathize with Jude, but at the same time, it's like, how long are you gonna let yourself be a floor mat in your own life? When are you gonna take action to change something in your life? And I think that's what I kind of wanted to see from the author. Hello, everybody. I am just sitting down after a kind of busy day, a kind of long day. I was cleaning my room and I decided that I wanted to read because I have been trying to finish reading this 800-page book. So I just finished cleaning. I just sat down to... Oh, I got my eyelashes done today. And I feel like I've been crying, but it's not but I haven't. It's because of the glue. I changed my yellow sunflower pillow that I had here, and I put a little Valentine's Day pillow here. Anyway, a little heart, not Valentine's Day, a heart pillow. I got my Arthur NDW because I love Arthur. I've always loved Arthur since I was a kid. And my hair is all up in a mess, but I don't really care because I'm gonna read. I'm currently on page 408. And okay, I'm a little frustrated because I had to stop reading during my lunchtime at work because it was time to go back to work. So I stopped reading at the moment where Jude was probably about to tell Harold the reason why Jude hurts himself. Jude said the reason he hurts himself is because sometimes he feels like there is pain inside of him or embarrassment inside of him or something, and he has to make that physical. So that's the reason why he has all these razors and stuff to hurt himself. I'm just gonna say hurt himself. And obviously Harold is finding out that Andy, Jude's doctor, knows about the stuff that happens that Jude does, and he's a little angry at himself because he didn't tell anyone. Like, obviously he understands that Jude doesn't want anybody to know, but he is a little angry that Andy knows about it and thinks, I don't know. So yeah, Jude and Harold were sitting down to eat and stuff, and he found out about Jude's razors. So he asked him about it. Jude, obviously, he's a little bit untrusting, or like he doesn't want to burden people with his issues. So he is hesitant to tell Harold. So that's where I'm at. And I'm going to continue to read. It's pretty early right now. It's pretty early. I have like an hour and a half, 2 hours to read. So I'm going to continue to read and then we'll see where we get to. Bye. Hello. Okay, I'm back. I finally finished reading A Little Life. It took me such a long time. I tried to read it as much as I could. I read during lunch. I read at home for almost like 2 hours after work. And I had to take a break for a month. The entire month of March, I did not read. I did not touch that book because every time I would remember that I had to read the book, I would always brace myself for the worst. But even though I wasn't in the bad and like the sad or bad parts of the book, I would kind of dread having to open it and read it. So I had to take a break. But today is the day that I finally finished reading this book, and here's my review. I might say some things that are going to reveal the story, the plot, or whatever. If you don't want to hear it, if you're reading the book, I would recommend that you skip over this part. But basically, I think I don't have a soul. Do I not have emotions? I don't know. I wanted to like it. I really wanted to like the book. I think for my taste in books, it was okay. First of all, it was too long. It dragged on for so much. And I feel like there were characters that we didn't need to know about because they never show up near the end of the book. Honestly, I think this book is unnecessarily long, and I don't know if people should read it if they don't want to be going on and on in circles about the same topic over and over again. So, I mean, it has structure. There's a clear plot line, there's a clear timeline in the book, but it has so much detail. And maybe it's just me. I'm not the type of person that likes so much detail. I'm very blunt with things. So if things are very detailed, I get kind of like, get to the point already. I felt like that a lot of times reading the book, and it felt like a chore to read the book. I know that there's probably a lot of people who like detail in books, so that's just my personal opinion. And I'm not looking at the camera. So obviously we all know that the book is about four characters, Jude, Malcolm, JB, and Willem. And we concentrate more on Jude near the end. But I feel like at the same time, the book was not only about Jude, but it was about those who surrounded Jude as well, because we do get the point of view of the other characters like Harold, Willem. I think I can remember from what I can remember, because it's such a long book and a lot of the details just left my brain. Harold's perspective of what Jude does, and Willem, how he feels. We get the point of view of Jude, and then we get the point of view of Willem and Harold, like in the future. A lot of the things that happened, honestly, I have to agree with some of the reviews that I had read before. And this is not to diminish abuse or things that happen to people involuntarily in real life. I just think that the author did exaggerate a little bit about some of the scenarios that she wrote, and it just made me just detach from the book. So I did not shed a tear. I'm so sorry. I did not shed a single tear. Actually, my eyes did get watery near the end. Spoiler alert. They did get watery near the end of the book when Jude was being told to eat and he threw a plate and instead of, because Jude obviously has been abused, so he's traumatized. So he is expecting already some type of physical abuse from Harold. That made me, my eyes watery. I was gonna say tear up, but I didn't tear up because instead of reacting to Jude's actions in the way that he expected them to react, they just comforted him and they were like, my baby, my poor baby. The amount of patience and love that they have had for Jude, I just like, to be able to forgive or to not get angry over the reactions of people who have been angry at you for a long time after someone has passed is just wow. So that page specifically, there's a sentence specifically that made me tear up, and I was like, okay. And I thought to myself, I'm like, this is the part where it's gonna start to get progressively worse, but no, that was where it stopped. A lot of the things that happened in Jude's early life was tragedy after tragedy with multiple people, and I understand where people come from when they say that it's just a never-ending cycle of trauma. So yeah, I understand that part. And then some of the parts in the book were like very descriptive about the way that Jude would hurt himself. I'm the type of person that doesn't really like blood or stuff like that. So when I was reading those parts where Jude was cutting himself, I was like, it sounds painful. And I cannot imagine somebody putting themselves through that. I think I realized that the author wanted to describe or create a character that understood that, or that felt that his life didn't have meaning. And it made me realize that there's a lot of people out there in the world that they think that their life is meaningless and it's not worthy of anything, and everything that they do is just selfish if it makes them feel good. And I cannot imagine a world where tragedies happen to one person over and over again. I know that there are horrible things that happen to people out there, and I know that this book is not real. But it's just, for me, I wish I could have gotten a redemption story, because there are so many more years of happiness that Jude lives. And I don't believe that all those years after he had already passed, whatever he went through, did not make up for, his trauma. Like, I don't believe that the happy times that he had surrounded by his friends and the people that loved him and that he loved back, I don't believe that wasn't enough to help him move past the hurt and help him move past like the way that he would hurt himself, his mentality. Like, yes, it might have changed him emotionally and physically. Like, how far can you go into thinking that you're just never gonna get like fixed, is what he would call himself. Like, I'm never gonna get fixed, I'm never gonna get repaired. And it's just, to me, the book kind of gave a message of there's no hope. And I don't want to believe that. I want to believe that there is hope in people's lives. And so I didn't cry near the end of the book when we get the point of view of Harold speaking. I think he was speaking to Willem at the end. I don't think that he was speaking to Jude, because he says Jude's name. So I forgot what I was going to say about that. But yeah, the book ends with Harold's point of view. It doesn't even end with Jude, because things happen. And that's one of the other things that I didn't really like about the author. For some reason, I don't know why she made a checklist of all the people who, because not only does one person pass, but multiple people pass. And I don't know why she made it sound like, okay, this person died of this person died of that, this person died of that, blah, blah. Like, we get so many we get like a whole list of people who passed, and I'm just like, are you rushing at this point to end the book? You could have kind of said that things were going on with people or that they had diseases or stuff. I don't know. I just felt like that part was rushed. I did feel like the book got interesting more near the end of the book is where we kind of get a pivot point of we're telling the whole story of Jude's life to now we are trying to survive something traumatic that happened to Jude. Honestly, the whole story was this is what this person went through, this is why they're this way, and we find out who he is. And then this is what happens to him after something major happens in his life, after he has a great loss, which I think that's the best way to summarize the book is we get the whole life story of Jude and then the perspectives of other characters here and there, and then we get something happens and then this is what like this is the final straw. I think that's what prevented me from being so emotionally attached is because we get so much of Jude's life, and I understand that he's the main character of the book, but we get so much of the tiny little details that I get lost and I get like, okay, what is the point of knowing this? So I would give this book a 3.3 and a half, a 3.5, 3.5 rating because a lot of people did say that they cried. I clearly didn't. I'm fine. It was a very long book. It dragged on for so long for me, for some reason. I kind of was expecting the ending to end the way it did. I don't want to believe that there is no hope in life. I don't think that it had a sad ending because at the end of the day, we see that there is someone who realizes that just life inevitably ends. And that is the moral of the story. I think that's what I learned. Life ends. We also learned that what we do in our lives or what happens in our lives, we need to choose whether we move on from it or we continue to live in our own world where we believe that we don't trust anyone enough to get help or to move on or to try. Like there were moments in the book where I was like, okay, this sounds like a mental battle between the past and the present. And I understand that there's people with mental illnesses that struggle every day to move on from their past traumas. But it takes courage, I think. And the book didn't give us that. Sadly, the book did not give us that. And I think that's why I was a little disappointed in the book. And that's why I gave it that 3.5-star rating. I don't think I would reread it again only because it was such a long story. And I don't know if I was having a hard time following all these characters too. It wasn't only the 4 characters that we know. It was like 8 other characters, like 10 other characters. And near the end of the book, they start to list all their names. And I'm just like, who? Like I had to keep reminding myself, oh, this is the name of so-and-so who Jude met and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that was my book adventure. I've heard a lot of things about the book. I don't want to drag this on. But I actually, okay, little story time. I decided to join a reading club by this Instagram bookstagrammer, if you want to call it, that I follow on Instagram. And she recently created a book club for her followers. And I decided to join it, and she opened it through Fable. So now I have Fable. And the book that we are going to be reading, or that we started reading, because today's April 3. We started April 1st, is called Hooked. It's called Hooked by Asako Yuzuki. I hadn't heard of this book at all before I joined, or before, like, I didn't choose this book. Like they had a poll. She had a poll, 4 options. I forgot what they were. This one was one of the options and this one won. So we're going to be reading this one. I'm not too sad that they didn't pick the book that I wanted because this was my second option. I had picked another one called like, it was like the Radio Girl or something. I don't know what it was. I forgot. But this one was my second option and I was like, okay, I can deal with that one. So I'm going to start reading this one after that 800-page book. And I cannot wait to find out what it is because the top of it says a novel of obsession. What? Like, you're telling me that this is a book about somebody who is obsessed? We'll see. Also, I got a lot of other news, things going on. I know I haven't made videos in a long time, and it was because of the book. I didn't want to be making videos of me just reading and reading and reading. So I decided that I was just going to read without recording anything. And because I feel like if I vlog and I read, especially the book like this big, if I do that, then I'm gonna just take forever. I'm gonna take longer to read it. So I just decided not to vlog everything. I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of other videos out there that are just reviewing and talking about this book. So I didn't want to really make it a huge video. If you guys read this book, let me know if you liked it because never heard of it. It has a lot of chapters, but I think they're shorter, so it's fine. But that was my book review. And I hope that you guys enjoyed it. And I hope to see you soon in another video because I haven't even recorded anything. What else? A lot of new things have been going on in the background. But that's it. And I'm going to say the outro again. So that's my book review. And I hope you guys enjoyed my review. And if you didn't, then I'm sorry. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye. But thank you for watching. Bye.